a topic that became kind of a theme on these calls yesterday. And the theme was really about this. It was just about limiting beliefs. Okay, let's write this down, limiting beliefs. Because I'm of the opinion this is one of the most pernicious things that really prevent us from having the success we want, that prevent us from living the empowered life or getting the results that we're capable of getting. And guys, it takes many forms, but it's kind of that negative self-talk, but it's really going next level with it. Marketing is the business side of psychology. Okay, I tell you all that on day one of training. Marketing is the business side of psychology, but you guys have to understand there's not just psychology to your customers. The most important stuff is your own. It's what's going on in your head. And there's a lot of things that I hear from people at every level of the business. And I think this manifests itself really clearly with team members and with reps in our organization. These different things you get in your head. I'm off track of my goal. You know what I'm saying? I'm off track of my goal. My customers aren't good enough. I don't have customers that'll buy like other people do. I'm not good enough on the phone. You with me on that? No one's going to answer me. Y'all follow me on that? Like these are all things I've said to myself in my Cutco time at various points. Can anyone relate to that at all? Anyone said any of those things? Okay, great. So again, that makes us all human. Congratulations. That was a test to see who are the aliens among us. All right, guys, that makes you human, having a human experience. So the worst of those is just that I'm not good enough. You know what I mean? I see how other people could have success, but clearly not me. You know, that's the worst of them. And the problem with that is that when you have these limiting beliefs, they are the lid on what is possible for you. And we are just waiting for the world to just build us up, and we're just waiting to be pleasantly surprised. And unfortunately, that's what makes a lot of people just very cynical and kind of jaded. When I was younger, I was a very negative person. I don't know why. I wasn't raised that way. I came from a family of really good and positive and loving people, but I was just kind of a negative person. And by the way, I hid behind it in just that an intellectually douchebag way of saying oh, I'm not a pessimist, I'm a realist. Okay, which is just an intellectual douchebag thing to say. And if any of you have ever said that, you're an intellectual douchebag, just so you know. Okay, but I was a very negative person, and I really don't know why I was. And like I said, I didn't mean to be, I didn't want to be, but I just kind of was. And you know, I mentioned that there's two ways that growth happens in your life. It happens because of really intentional focus, or it happens because bad things happen, to you. Okay, external influences. And in my case, it was definitely the external one, that's for sure. And not to be overly heavy, but it was when my dad died. That was just a time of tremendous growth for me. Now, it was painful, but there was a lot of growth that came from it. And my dad was a pure encourager. He just, for him, you didn't have to prove why you were worth respect or value or consideration or love. You had to prove why you weren't. And that's a huge difference. That's a cosmic shift in the way you live your life. The difference between saying, I don't need you to show me why you're valuable. I'm going to treat you as such until you show me why you are not. Now, once you showed why you were not, he was done with you. You know what I mean? It was a pretty hard line, but it was just a different approach. And I remember just having that conversation with myself where I was like, man, there is one less encourager in the world, and that's not cool. So I want to step into that void. And it's been a very positive thing. Now, I don't consider myself necessarily a very positive person, but I do try to be an encouraging person. You know, with me on that? So some of those same limiting beliefs that I had before, they're still there, they're still in my head, but I just had to make certain decisions to be able to kind of operate on a higher level. Guys, it's okay that you just have certain times where you're just not the best version of yourself. I just want to eat junk and garbage all the time, and I often do, and I always enjoy it. I'm not a bad person because I have those sorts of, that craving that's right there. It's just the fact I don't do it all the time is a testament to growth. So I want you to understand this idea of limiting beliefs. There's no version of this where you don't have them. That's the problem. People always want to get to this point where they don't have that. They don't feel negative. They don't have those sorts of experiences of it. But guys, that's like wanting to not feel lonely. That's like trying to surround yourself with other people so you never feel lonely. And y'all understand that doesn't work, right? A lot of young people do that. A lot of your peers do that. They try to surround themselves with people and activities so they never feel lonely, when you have to understand that that's just part of the human experience. You know what I mean? And you have to learn how to sort of be able to be in that classroom of silence. And so that way you're not using other people as this crutch. You're not using other people at all. You know what I'm saying? You're enjoying the experience of being with other people and being in communion with them and having relationships. That's different than using people as an emotional Band-Aid. Y'all see the difference there? So sometimes we do that. We feel bad about ourselves because we have these moments of just doubt and fear that just sort of creep into our psyche. And this is way bigger than knives. This happens in all different kinds of areas of your life. This will happen in school. This will happen in relationships. This will happen with your finances. This will happen with your health. You know what I'm saying? This is going to happen everywhere. This is not a knife issue, just so you know. Like sometimes people are like, man, I hate phone time. I'm nervous at phone time. I'm not good at phone time. And so they avoid doing phone time. They get bad results. And oh man, that job just didn't work out for me. Well, no, you just didn't do phone time. Okay, I mean, it's literally as simple as that. Like I can tell you what happened. It's not even a big deal to me. And here's the deal. Like, that's okay. I'm not even mad at that person. If they just didn't want to do it, they don't have to do it. Like, that's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that. They don't owe me or anyone else anything. But the problem is that same thing, that becomes a habit. Like, how you do anything is how you do everything. That becomes a habit, and that's that same excuse that'll start to crop up in so many other areas of your life. I hit a wall. It was hard. I didn't believe I could overcome it, and therefore I stopped trying. And this is a very normal thing. This is a very human thing. So I don't want anyone, there's no judgment here. There's no judgment here. So there's an author and a speaker I love. His name is Dean Karnazes. He's better known as the Ultra Marathon Man. And this dude is nuts. Okay, he's crazy. He ran 50 marathons in 50 states in 50 days. Because why not? There's this marathon relay, like where you run a marathon and then you hand the baton over, the metaphorical baton, and then the next person on your team runs a marathon, and then the next person on your team runs a marathon. Okay, and it's an over a 200-mile race. Okay, he does it solo. So this weirdo runs 200 miles. And by the way, the crazy thing is he didn't start running till he was in his 30s. That's the nutty thing. Like, he ran in high school and then he stopped. And then he was in his 30s. And his book is amazing. Like, he's written a lot of books now, but The Ultra Marathon Man, his first one is amazing. And it just has so much, it's just got so much truth, and it's so real. And he's got this line in here, and I always go back to it when I start thinking about limiting beliefs. Most dreams die a slow death. They're conceived in a moment of passion with the prospect of endless possibility, but they often languish and they're not pursued with the same heartfelt intensity as when they were first born. Slowly, subtly, a dream becomes elusive and it becomes ethereal. People who've let their own dreams die become pessimists and they become cynics. They feel the time and the devotion they spent chasing their dreams was wasted. Those emotional scars last forever. It can't be done, they'll say, when you describe your dreams. You will never make it. And, I remember reading that for the first time, 11 years ago, and I was like 26, and I was like, that's me. That's me. And it sucks, too, because my dad died when I was 22, and I felt like I had grown so much, and I had, by the way. Like, in hindsight, I had, and now I celebrate that growth. But in the moment, all it did was make me feel even more frustrated. Can y'all relate to that? Just kind of on a human level. And so I had kind of hit that point. And so again, I had to sort of figure out, like, what's the antidote in that? What's the antecedent? If we've identified this is a pattern that many people fall into, this is a pattern in my own life and business and relationships that's holding me back, this negative self-talk. And I heard people talk about it, but I didn't take it seriously. Well, I take it seriously now. Now I know why it matters. Now I know why, when y'all say, oh, no one is picking up their phone. Now I get it. You're just venting. Don't get me wrong. And you're allowed to do that. It's okay. But that's why I'm always quick to say 6 people didn't pick up their phone. 6 people. And you're like, yeah, nobody. And I'm like, I get it. In your world right now, 6 people is everybody. You follow me? And I always say that not because I'm not empathizing with you. And I know it's frustrating sometimes when you just want to be heard. And I know that. Sometimes y'all just need to be heard and you just want to vent. You don't need me to solve it. And I'm not. But I'm always trying to work on just framing where your headspace is at, because it doesn't matter what I tell you. It matters how you feel. You'll follow me on that? That's why I do that, just so you know. It's not because I'm not listening to you. It's not because I don't care. I really do care. I care more than you realize. Let's try this little exercise just for fun. I want everyone to look around the room. You have literally 6 seconds, okay? I want you to look around the room. I want you to find everything red. I'm being serious. Look around, look around, look around. Everything red, 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 red. What's red? Look in the back of the room. There's some red. You got red, red, red. What's red? What do you see? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Close your eyes. No cheating. Close your eyes. Close them. All right, I want y'all to tell me every single thing you saw that was green. Every one of y'all's expressions when I did that, y'all went, whatever you're focused in on, that's all you see. You looked around the room, and there's green. There's plenty of green, but you weren't looking for it. It's what you're looking for. You're going to see evidence of it, okay? You will see evidence of it. So how do you combat all this stuff? What do you do? Once you sort of have this realization, you start to understand it, what do you do? Where you have this focus, so if you have this focus of, I'm going to miss my goal, I don't know what to tell you. It's in your head. I'm not going to be able to book my demos. I'm not going to sell a set. I'm not going to hit I'm not going to do the things I need to do. I'm not going to get a bit of a paycheck. You want to act that, you can't, and you never will. So how do you combat it? Once you realize that this is a pattern that we all slip into in life, not just in knives, but this is life, what do? Write this down. Abundance mindset. Abundance mindset. How do you fight this? Is with the abundance mindset. Guys, the only way you can combat negative self-talk is with positive self-talk. And here's the abundance mindset. The abundance mindset says that there is plenty of opportunity out there. There's plenty of customers. There's plenty of sales. There's plenty of time. I'm good enough. It's mantras. It's affirmation. But that's the abundance mindset. Off to the side, make a note. This was the best way I ever had someone describe this to me was this. Where attention goes, energy flows. So just write that down. Where attention goes, energy flows. So as an example, instead of saying, man, no one's picking up today. It's okay to get that out and vent. That's okay. That's even can be healthy. Instead, being able to say, hey, but the good news is there's 8 million other people in DFW, and I bet a lot of them really could use this product, and I bet a lot of them could be available, and I could hit my goal, and I just got to make sure I go find the right ones. Oh, this person only bought 2 knives. Man, how am I ever going to sell what I need to 2 knives at a time? The abundance mindset says, I'm 2 knives closer to my goal. I got some recommendations that are going to put me there. I'm selling consistently, and every sale I get, even the small sales, that's one more domino being knocked over. It's going to put me closer to my next big sale. That was an awesome experience. You can reframe the experiences you're having with positive self-talk. Like I said, this isn't knife stuff, this is life stuff. And you can do that in so many different areas. But you have to start taking your own temperature. When I first started to take this idea seriously, I literally set an alarm on my phone. I'm not telling you y'all need to do this, but I'm just being honest with you. I set an alarm on my phone, a recurring alarm, and it went off every 15 minutes for an entire day. Now, that's annoying, and I'm not telling y'all to do that, but I'm just being honest. It's not that crazy. My wife has an alarm that goes off every 30 minutes, and it just says, drink water. She drinks a gallon of water every single day just to be a healthier person because she's a better, more disciplined human than I am. But every 30 minutes, it says, drink water. So every time that Havana song by, what's her name, Camila, whatever, like I hear that, like I get thirsty when I hear that song. Okay, because that's like the song on her little alarm on her iPhone. I just hear the opening lines to that, and just that like, do, 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 and just that beat. And I'm just like, it's like Pavlov's dog in reverse. My mouth gets dry. It doesn't water. But she does that. And she does that just because she's like, I'm not going to depend on my own emotion or my own motivation or my own presence or self-awareness. She goes, that's it. It says drink water, so I drink water. So I put in my phone, and I did this for a day. And the next day I kept it, but I moved it back every 20 minutes. And the next day it was 25. The next day it was 30. But I literally had this alert in my phone, and it said, where's your head at? That was it. Where's your head at? You know, they should have sent a poet. I wish I had a better line for you, but that's all it said. Where's your head at? And every 15 minutes I looked down and I was like, well, it's in the sand. I guess it's time for caffeine. And by the way, by the end of the day, I resented that. I was so angry with that alarm. I'm just like, you know what? Screw you, tiny box. Screw you, pocket computer. I hope you die. And you cost me money because then I have to buy a new pocket. Damn it. My point sharing all this stuff is there is a process for this, but you have to be willing to be self-aware. You have to be willing to self-assess a little bit. You have to learn how to really embrace the idea of curiosity with no judgment. Write that down. Curiosity with no judgment. I think it's the best life thing I ever learned is being able to ask, I wonder why something is happening, but attaching no judgment or negative emotion to it. Sometimes you have to do this in relationships. Man, this person's mad. I wonder why. You know, instead of getting defensive or wall going up, I wonder why. And being able to see that maybe that person is just hurting, or maybe they're struggling, or maybe they need help, or maybe you did something that hurt and offended them. But the second you immediately attach judgment to it, this wall goes up. I wonder why I'm getting this result. And immediately, a lot of times, you start to hit that limiting belief cycle of like, oh, I wonder why I'm not selling sets right now. Oh, it's probably because I suck, or my customers aren't good, or I'm not doing it right, or like if Noah was there, he would have sold, and you with me on that? No, curiosity, no judgment. I wonder why I'm not selling more sets. Maybe I'm not really talking about like safe storage enough. I wonder why. Maybe I need to do a better job on the butcher knife and the carving set. By the way, if you want to sell more homemakers, do a better job on the butcher knife and the carving set. Bonus tip. Okay, if you don't know how to sell those, talk to us. Literally, that's the key to selling homemakers, is those two things. If you can sell a butcher knife and a carving set, you will sell homemakers, because it's not hard to sell a spatula spreader and the trimmer sells itself. Let's be honest. And everyone already has a chef knife in their kitchen. Even if they don't know how to use it, they still have a chef knife. People are like, what is this for? And they still all have one. But my point is just that curiosity with no judgment. So where's your head at? And then I wonder why. I wonder why. If you can do that, a little more of a stoic approach, I promise it'll help. So here's my last thought. My last thought to all this is this. Here's the steps that you should take. Write this down. How do you sort of try and trigger that abundance mindset in yourself? Here's the deal. It's simple but not easy. Aren't the best things in life always simple but not easy? You know, they really are. Simple but not easy. Number one, visualize the result you want. Visualize the result you want. Everything in the world is created 2 times. It's created once in your mind, and then it's created in the world. But we skip that first step, and we just want life to pleasantly surprise us. Doesn't really work that way, you know? Visualize what you want. What's the outcome you want? Number 2, connect to the emotion of how that will feel. Connect to the emotion of how that will feel. Number 3, now this is a very personal one, but for me, it's very effective. The way I would say it is this: create a totem. Okay, just write that down. I'll explain what it means. You know, like a totem pole, those big things. So here's the deal. When I say a totem, but just put that down. You need something that's going to help you remember. Once you visualize what you want, you connect to that emotional experience, you need some way you're going to remember. It could be an alarm in your phone. When I say a totem, it's just a way, how am I going to help carry this? Y'all know how this happened? This is my totem. We have these armbands. One side says McDistrict, and the other side says, don't suck. This is my totem, just so you know. Anytime I'm going through something, like professionally, and I don't mean going through something in a negative way, I mean when I'm doing these steps, I literally go, I want the team to have a $10,000 day today, and then I think about how will that feel, and I try to describe it. That will be satisfying. That's going to be exciting. You know what I'm saying? Like I kind of think about what are those words, and that entire time, I'm just kind of looking down at the stupid don't suck, okay? And it makes me laugh too, because I'm a 12-year-old. All right, but it's rule number 1, don't suck. There's a story there, but it doesn't matter. And so I look down at that, that's my totem. Now for you, maybe it's like, I'm going to sell my first Ultimate set. How is it going to feel when I sell my first Ultimate set? And connect to that. I'm going to be excited, or I'm going to sell my next Ultimate set, or my first Cutco kitchen, or my first flatware chest, or I'm going to get my next promotion. How's that going to feel? I'm going to feel more secure financially because I'm making more money. I know I'm going to be in a better place. I'm going to feel more independent. I'm going to feel more empowered. Like you start to think about all that, and you got to connect that to something, a reminder. You know what the best totem is? The all-time best totem is journaling. I'm just not good at journaling. The best totem is journaling. I'll tell you that right now. Every super crazy high achiever, journaling is such a big part of that. I'm not good, so mine says don't suck. That's my journal. Like it sort of begins and ends there. You know, it's like, hey, if nothing else, as long as I did that part, I'm doing okay. But journaling is the ultimate best totem. And then here's the last thing. Step 4, pursue the thing. Whatever the thing is, I don't care. Pursue the thing with confidence, enthusiasm, and positive expectations. Pursue it with confidence, enthusiasm, and positive expectations. And that's my steps. That's how I try to trigger the abundance mindset in myself. I do not go in the field as a rep. I do not go in the field with a goal of selling less than $10,000. It's not worth it for me financially to not be here. Because when I'm in the office, I could try to help 20 of you guys sell $1,000. So if I'm in the field and I only sell 4,000, well, that was a losing bet for the entire team. So I'm not saying my goal is to sell 20,000, because if I could help 20 people sell $1,000, that's 20,000 our team sold. But my goal is to sell 10. I do not go in the field with a goal of selling less than 10 grand. It's not even worth my time being away from the office. So before I do my first phone time, before I look at my schedule, I literally go, what is the result I want? I want to sell 10 grand. And then I go, how am I going to feel doing that? And I connect to the emotional response of what that's going to feel like. I'm going to make $5,000. What is that going to represent to my family? I'm going to have credibility with my team. They're going to see that, that I can hang. Y'all are going to listen to me in a different way. And I just start going through all the good things that are going to happen. People are going to know my name. And by the way, that's not a bad thing. That's not ego. That's saying I'm a hard worker and people are going to know my name. I connect to that experience of what that's going to feel like. Like I'm going to be able to take this money then and pay off this bill or buy this thing or go on this limo or hit this trip. I'm connecting to that. And then in the process of that, I'll either journal, write down some things I'm thinking or feeling. Sometimes I'll even put a different picture on my desk and I do it just almost mix it up. And in my head, it's this Pavlovian thing. But you got to have a totem. Like journaling is the best thing. But for me, it tends to be just a stupid don't suck bracelet because it just works for me every time. I'm like, you know what? This thing is my goal. I'm going to sell 10K. And there'll be times y'all will see me doing this. And it's just this thing I do. And if you're around me enough, you'll see me do this sometimes. I'm always doing it because I'm putting myself back in that place. Sometimes I'm stressed, sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I'm just doing it because I want to connect back to that feeling. And I literally am doing this. And there's times people see me do that. And then once I do that, great. I'm going to pursue this 10K goal. I'm going to do it confidently, enthusiastically, with the right expectations. And you have created a foundation where you can be your best. Where attention goes, energy flows. So I get it. You feel the stress, you feel all the feels, and you should feel all the feels. Some of you guys are working really, really hard, and I'm proud of your work ethic. I love your work ethic. And some of you guys are not working hard, but you're working smart, and you're getting some good results, and I'm proud of that. I'm proud of the good things you're doing. But what I need all of y'all to do, wherever you are on that spectrum, I need you to focus for the next few days on creating a better foundation. I want you to practice the abundance mindset. And anytime you have that limiting belief, I don't want you to beat yourself up. I don't want you to choke it down and act like it's not there. Okay, but I want you to have a little curiosity with no judgment. I wonder why I feel that way. I wonder why I feel like no one will answer for me when I see evidence all around me of other people booking demos. Maybe I'm just in my head. Maybe this is just a larger frustration I'm having. Maybe I just need to overcome that with some massive action. Maybe I need to stop dwelling on the fact 5 people didn't answer, and I should instead say, how could I call 20? And all of a sudden the answers will come pretty clear. This is going to be an amazing day. All right, so on the phones, visualize the result you want to have happen. Connect to how great that's going to feel. Give a little love to that totem there. All right, connect to that experience. And then do it confidently, enthusiastic, with positive expectations. What a great day it's going to be. I can't wait.